And we are live. Hello and welcome to another benefit of the Doud review. And today, whatever time you're watching this, because that's how YouTube works, we are reviewing the Audio-Technica ATH-SQ1TW. And Cliff, first question I need to ask you is, what is it with headphone manufacturers and the alphabet soup? I do not understand that. Everybody does it, and it's maddening.
I don't know. That's a really good question. Somebody needs to come up with, like, the dragon.
Right? Like, I mean, that would be beautiful. Or, even just the, TWS1, like, and, TWS doesn't even stand for true wireless headphones. It stands for true wireless stereo, which is a little bit maddening. I don't mind.
I don't know that, but now I know.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. So when you say TWS, I mean, technically, it's True Wireless Stereo Earbuds is how you're supposed to say TWS earbuds, but everybody just says TWS. That's how messed up the headphone industry is.
I think we could go very deep
into the more you know. But anyway, so this evening we are reviewing the Audio-Technica ATH-SQ1TW. And by the way, every time I say that product name, I'm going to be looking out over here because that's where I have it written on my computer screen, because I am never going to remember.
Just rolls off the tongue, let me tell you.
It does. It really does. But these are true wireless earbuds, as the name implies. And they're Audio-Technica's base model of earbuds. So they're nothing fancy, but they don't have to be. And have I ever told you the one thing that I really like about Audio-Technica headphones is their really subtle branding?
Yeah. Actually.
So
I don't think you can see it here. I think Rode actually followed them with that.
Oh, did Rode do that? Okay. But
anyway. Anywho.
So yeah, I'm actually using Bluetooth headphones that I reviewed for Slash Gear. So I'll put a link to that review in the show notes, because why not? But these are the ATH M50X BTs. BT2.
The Bluetooth version.
BT2.
Oh, that's
right. The Bluetooth version of their studio headphones.
The second version of their Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah. And you know what? I gotta say, like, I know up until I got the Rhodes, which you sent me, by the way, thank you very much. Up until I got those, I was using the ATH M40Xs. So I've been used to this type of sound and everything like that. So I really dig. Oh, you have them, don't you?
I just knocked about 8 things off of my table over there, but yes.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
These are the corded version.
Those are mine. Those are mine too. But I've been using the Bluetooth.
These are the 50s. But
yeah, these are the 50X. I've been using the Bluetooth version, and I gotta say, I never thought I would be a Bluetooth headphone guy for like audio stuff. Like,
right.
I'll throw on a pair of wireless earbuds when I'm listening to a podcast in the car or something like that. Which, by the way, you're not supposed to do. But so I'll do that.
Some people do it all the time, so you're not.
Oh, I know. It's I'll do that, but I always thought that the latency might be a problem for like audio editing and stuff like that. When you push the play button, and it like takes that half second to start up. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do that, and like Bluetooth has gotten to the point where it doesn't really do that, and so it's kind of nice to be able to stand up and walk to the bathroom and, continue listening to what you're listening to, or, go up to the kitchen, refill your water bottle, which crap, I forgot to refill this before we started the podcast. Anyway, so like, I've been digging the Bluetooth headphones, and so I'm going to miss these when I have to send them away. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, because we are talking about another set of Bluetooth TWS earbuds. And with that, let's go ahead and fire up Skippy.
Beep.
Hi, Skippy.
Hi, Skippy.
Yeah, how you doing, Skippy? So these are the earbuds. This is the earbud case, and these are the earbuds. Let's compare these to a couple of other
Your bucket of true wireless earbuds.
My bucket of wireless earbuds, yeah. So these are the Soundcore Liberty 4s. and these are the OnePlus Buds Pro 2. So you can see like the case sizes are similar, kind of similar footprint, but the Audio-Technicas are quite a bit thicker.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
not a big deal, but still, it's a little bit more compact, but it's also a little bit taller. So that's that. Anyway, but yeah, so it's a nice little case. Let's talk about battery life real quick.
Is that case rubberized? It's hard to tell.
No,
No,
it's
just
just straight up
very
plastic.
matte looking on the top there. But it's probably just the light.
Now on the inside, it's actually there's this part here is rubberized,
Mm-hmm.
and like this part here is a little bit more of a matte black finish. So but so it's like this part is actually kind of nice to the touch, but the rest of it is all pretty much just plastic.
One of the things that
Anyway,
Adam loves to do is fill up his Bluetooth earbud cases.
it is my forbidden passion. Anyway, so let's talk about battery life real quick. Audio-Technica advertises 6.5 hours with on a single charge with 13 more hours in the case. That seems about right, and it's also a little bit on the low side. Like that's not a whole lot of time when it comes to earbuds. I mean, I want to say like I've reviewed earbuds with like 30 hours total,
Yeah,
including the case and whatnot. So, I'm gonna say though that I think Audio-Technica was a little bit on the conservative side. I use these for, and you have to understand, to my listeners, I have actually reviewed 2 other sets of earbuds since I stopped reviewing these. So I've had like earbuds coming out of the wazoo. But no, when I was using these, I used these for about 4 weeks, and I want to say I charged them up probably 3 times, give or take, during those 4 weeks. Now, I never listen to earbuds 8 hours a day. That's just not how I roll. I listen to earbuds when I'm in the car, when I'm out for a walk, when I'm out on my bike, which hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen soon because it's April. Yay!
Woo!
So like that's when I listen to earbuds. So it's I don't do like a typical work day 8-hour thing. I never have with earbuds because honestly they all earbuds, not just these, but all earbuds bug me if they're in my ears for that long. So
yeah, I think they do for most people. There's very few in ear, but very few in ear, whether they're corded or cordless, that I found that don't fatigue me after a while.
right. So I'll give it a couple of hours maximum, but even at that point, I'm pulling them out like every 15 minutes and just like,
Yeah.
and then putting them back in. But anyway, so like 6.5 hours and 13 hours is not great. I would say that's probably one of the downsides about these earbuds. They do have so one of the things that Audio-Technica is famous for, especially in their headphones, is their very flat sound.
Mm-hmm.
So these do not have a whole lot of boom to them. They don't have a whole lot of screech to them. They are just pretty much flat frequency response. Although I will note that they do have some pretty good bass. Like when the bass kicks in, it kicks in, and like you don't really feel it, but you get the whole sense of audio that I think that the artist is going for, specifically like, the Lindsey Sterling dubstep type stuff. You get the oof, 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 so that I really, really enjoy. Like, I would say it's some of the cleanest audio that I've heard from a set of earbuds in a while. And again, I've been stupid with earbuds recently, so that is saying a lot.
It is funny when you get true wireless earbuds that are tuned in a way that just kind of makes your ears pick up if you have listened to a lot of different ones. I had that experience with the Master and Dynamic ones, and where they just my experience with Audio-Technica stuff is like that. And like you said, tuned generally for pretty flat frequency response, but maybe they gave it a little extra bass for some for the bass heads out there.
It's very possible. I didn't notice like a whole lot of thumpy bass when I wasn't listening to Lindsey Sterling. Like, you know, when I would listen to like a Metallica or an Anthrax or something like that, there wasn't a whole lot of extra, you know, thump going on there. But I think, and I think it just depends on how the artist is making their music, because it's going to give you the flat EQ, and then it's up to what the artist wants, you know?
Sure.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So, I think that's largely what Audio-Technica was going for here, because that's what Audio-Technica, that's how Audio-Technica is basically.
How's the soundstage? I was going to ask you.
The soundstage is, I mean, I think before we get to that, we should probably talk about price a little bit.
Oh, well, sure.
Because, I mean, because it's not, you know, it's not the best. These are not the best earbuds that I've ever listened to. Okay. They do give you a nice flat sound, which I personally like, mainly because what I listen to most is like podcasts and stuff like that. And you don't necessarily need a really super, you know, sweeping EQ in order to hear NPR. You know,
high fidelity headphones for listening to ASMR. These are not.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Right. So these earbuds right now have an MSRP of about $80. So they're $79.95 or 99 or whatever, depending on where you buy them, obviously. So they're on the lower end of the price scale, although spoiler alert, I've got an earbud review coming up at Slash Gear that I think is gonna kind of knock these off that particular recommendation pillar, but we won't talk about those just yet. So so in terms of like general soundstage, they're good. I mean, you know, you get a lot of I don't want to say you get a lot of depth of the sound, because you get what the artist gives you. So these are not going to like ramp up anything. One of the downsides for these earbuds is there's no app for them. There is an Audio-Technica app, but these don't connect to that. I tried, and it's very possible that there is a different app that I needed to download. But I mean, I downloaded the official Audio-Technica app, and I searched for these particular product number, and they weren't available, which kind of sucks, because like these headphones, you could do a lot with the app. You know, you can adjust the EQ, you can adjust like a lot of the smaller settings. You know, I'm trying to remember what you could do with the Audio-Technica app with these headphones. I know the EQ is one of them, but there was I think one of the things you could do is you can adjust the steps in the volume. So you can go from like 8-step volume to 16-step volume to 32-step volume. And what I mean by that is if you raise the volume one notch, you're either going up 1/8 of the total, 1/16 of the total, or 1/32. So you can get a lot of finer control in the audio. And it's funny, I'm moving my hand over here that like nobody can see it. So like what
I do the same
what I
thing.
mean
I'm
is
like gesturing,
yeah.
and you just see my shoulder moving.
So like that would have been great to have for these, and I think it would have
Right.
been I don't think it would have been that hard to implement, but
I feel my gut here is that while $79.99 or $95 is reasonable for true wireless earbuds that, you know, have a decent feature set and sound, I really feel like at that price for a company like Audio-Technica, it should work with an app. Like that's almost table stakes for larger companies. Like
I would say so, yeah. Especially since they already have an app.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like but at the same time, like at that price point, I'm more inclined to forgive it, I think.
Yeah, I understand.
There's also no active noise cancellation. The isolation is pretty good. Which means, you know, like when you're driving with the windows open, it will drown out a lot of the noise coming from the window. But what's odd is that even though these don't have active noise cancellation, they do have a hear through mode. So like you can enable hear through mode to you know, there are microphones on the outside of the buds to allow you to hear what's going on the outside, but they don't use that microphone to generate active noise cancellation tones, which I thought was also kind of a little weird.
That's really weird. I don't think I've ever seen true wireless earbuds that do hear through but don't also have active noise cancellation. That's weird.
So I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little Yeah, you can
You know,
probably
a
see
little
it like right
microphone.
about there. There's a little
Yeah.
microphone right
Yep.
there that they use for hear through, but not for active noise cancellation,
Weird.
which is kind of weird. Speaking of which, the earbuds are tiny. Like these things are super small. And by the way, look at that bokeh from the
Yeah, very
S23
nice.
Ultra, huh? That is very
Yeah.
nice. Anyway, so the
Oh,
earbuds are
that is
super tiny.
cool. So is it okay?
What's that?
That's really smart. So the flashing light is
Is the
also
left or
left
right?
and right. That is a
That was
good idea.
That was
But
the
I
next thing I was going to say, actually. So yeah, when you take them out of the case, they blink right and left. So let me see if I can hold this
that's
up
a
here.
really smart idea. Kudos to them.
I like it. Although when the light is off, it's hard to see.
Yeah, I can see.
Because I mean, as you can see, they stop blinking after a while. So like if you don't put them straight into your ears, I mean, and it's also kind of weird because you have to hold the case at kind of like an angle. Because like normally when you take earbuds out of a
Yeah.
case, whatever you take out with your left hand is going to go in your left ear. Whatever you take out with your right hand is going to go in your right ear. In this particular case, it's actually like if you hold the case straight, it's on a diagonal, which I mean, it's not hard to figure out. But and they snap in here magnetically, but sometimes if you put them in wrong, they attach magnetically to the case. So you have to kind of like futz with them a little bit to get them to snap in. So there's probably arguably some design issues. Did I say that they supported fast pair?
No.
With Google?
Not
Okay.
yet.
So that's kind of nice. And it's actually kind of to the point where when you're when you open up the case, like especially, because I have a stupid job
Right,
and you
right.
have a stupid number of phones, but like you open up this case and like 5 phones are like, oh, you want to connect? Let's go.
Yes. But it also means if you do have it paired to one of your phones, almost by the time you put them in your ear, it's ready to go. In my experience,
It's ready to go. Yeah. So it's super convenient in that regard. There is also no wireless charging, which is again not a big deal at this price point. But they connect with USB-C. You know what I can't find? And I was reading the manual because I couldn't find this, but like a lot of true wireless earbuds have a reset button. Like when you need to like force or reconnect. I'm sorry?
Is it a pinhole instead?
No, it's actually you keep them in the case and then you just hold both of the touch sensitive pads for like 5 seconds, I think it is, and then that resets
That's
them.
actually I like that better. If you read,
you
just have to read the manual.
I think I think in principle I like that better. However, there's a discoverability issue.
Right.
Like you have to know, oh wait, that's how you do it.
You definitely have to go and read the manual in order to figure that out. I would definitely not intuitively go, oh well, that's what you have to do.
Well, that's what you gotta do right there, buddy.
But if you think about versus closing it, because a lot of those are on like the bottom or on the back as far as the reset buttons are concerned, so you're like futzing with the case, trying to put pressure on it, and sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. So this way you can just flip it open and hold. I like that.
Yep, and the other kind of odd thing, I don't know how odd this is, but it's outside. It's definitely odd with my experience with true wireless earbuds. In order to get them into pairing mode, you actually have to take the buds out of the case. Like how normally you just open up the case and it's like, okay, now I'll connect.
Yeah.
Well, you actually have to take the buds out to power them on. So that's kind of weird, but it's okay. Like it's not completely it's not completely unheard of.
I've seen it both ways, and I actually do prefer it to be just when you pop it open and then it's already trying to pair, but still,
Yeah. So anyway, man, I had something else. So they are IPX4 splash proof, which is nice. They go into your ear very weirdly. Let me see if I can show you this. So like when you take the earbud out, you can see it's kind of like offset quite a bit. Let me move this out of the way. It's like offset quite a bit. So like when you go to put it into your ear, you have to like kind of turn it to figure out where exactly it slots in.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like that. I don't know if you can
Yeah, I can
see
see it.
that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's like, but like there will be times that you take it out of the case and you go to put it in and you're like, oh, that's upside down, hang on. And the thing is, they're so small, they're kind of hard to manipulate. But at the same time, like I would think I could almost sleep with these in if I wanted to.
Hmm.
So
They
like I
stay
don't
in
know,
that well
maybe if
too.
they stay in pretty well. Yeah, I mean, they passed the headbanger test, which I don't do that often, but
It's funny,
they
I've had true wireless earbuds that have stems like the AirPods, and then some
sure.
that don't. And I will say the one nice thing about stems is that they sort of give you that feel when you've rotated it to where it kind of catches on your lobe.
Yeah, that cue as to like this is
Yeah.
right side
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with something like this, I mean, this is like almost perfectly square.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's kind of hard to tell, like just by feel. If you're driving along and you're like, okay, like how do these things go in? You can, yeah, kind of mash them into your head. So one of the big downsides about not having an app is there is no ability to change what does what.
Mm-hmm.
So these are controlled by taps and holds on the earbuds. So let me see if I can remember this properly. A single tap on either side will play and pause. That's fairly standard. A tap and hold on the left activates your assistant. A tap and hold on the right will turn on pass-through mode and turn that off. And then a double tap on the left will turn your volume down. A triple tap will turn the volume up. And on the left side, a double tap will go forward and a triple tap will go back, or it might be vice versa.
It is
Now,
so hard to remember this if you
it,
review many of these.
oh yeah, yeah,
Each one has
it's
its own thing.
right. But the thing is, like, I don't really like that because I want the left side of my head to go backwards and I want the right side of my head to go forward. So when I double tap the left side, I want the volume to go down. When I double tap the right side, I want the volume to go up.
Mm,
That's
I
just
can
kind of
see
how
that.
my brain is wired. So like it's kind of weird that you have to like remember that all volume is on the left side. And there's no way to change it. And that's kind of
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
part that kind of bugs me. And I would say that bugs me, but it doesn't bug me as much as when they do give you the ability to change it, but they don't let you put what you want where you want it. Like they'll give you like limited options on
Right.
how to change things. Like I can think off the top of my head a couple of sets of earbuds that will let you change things, but not like a tap and hold or something like that, and
Sure.
that can be kind of maddening, to be perfectly honest. But overall, these are a decent set of buds. Like for $80, that's less than what you're going to use. I don't want to say that. That's not right, because there are a lot of true wireless earbuds that you can buy for like 30 and $40. And I don't know if we've reviewed them on this channel, but like I know for TechBeard we did a couple of sets of like earphone buds and stuff like
And
that you can get.
that was when we first started doing uh
Tech, yeah.
yeah, or here
Okay.
on this channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
was. Okay.
Cuz
Um
that was back when I was and I won't go into long detail, but I was in that search for like the least
oh
expensive
yeah,
true
the how
wireless
bad can it
earbuds.
be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, yeah,
had
yeah.
everything. And that was Earfun's first set of earbuds. And we reviewed
Yeah.
them on this channel. So I actually feel pretty cool about that I found that brand before. And it's
Yeah.
funny that you were saying that, because I feel like, when you were talking about, and I was thinking about the price point of these, and I still feel like Earfun gives you more for the money. But, here's the thing. Earfun is not an audiophile brand. And
No. No.
while these are not what I would call the ones that you have, based on what you were saying, I wouldn't call them audiophile earbuds.
Definitely not.
It seems like the sound quality might be one of their best features.
Yeah, are definitely, and and it's really rare, I would say, that you get a set of earbuds with as flat a sound as
Yeah.
these have, because all earbuds companies want to tune their stuff, and often they will tune them to be like a little bit bass heavy or a little bit treble or like kind of like a V configuration in the equalizer to, you know, give you a better musical experience, which pisses me off because I listen to spoken word. Like, and that's the part that you want. Like, you want the bottom of the V to be up when it comes like, but I mean, so many earbuds give you the opportunity to set your own equalizer too, and these do not.
Right, because you don't have an app.
Because there's no app.
Right.
So that's a little on the disappointing side, but overall, like for $80, it's kind of hard to compare. It's kind of hard to complain. You get up to, you want to add another $20 or $40 to that. Now you're going to get stuff like active noise cancellation. You're going to get stuff like wireless charging. You're going to get app controls and stuff like that. So, I mean, but I mean, still, $40 is another half again this price. So you're looking at a 50% increase just for a couple of nice to haves, you know? So, I mean, honestly, if you're looking for a solid set of earbuds that have a very flat sound so you can hear what the artist intended, then, you know, these would be a good set of earbuds to pick up. So with these, like, these would be a good set of cans to pick up. These are like $200, but so it's a different price range. And there's no active noise cancellation on these either. But overall, like, you know, you get really good sound quality. You get a couple of nice to haves. You get the good balanced audio, Google Fast Pair. You get the hear through functionality. And you know, you get a tiny little case that you can slip into your pocket very easily. So for $80, that's not bad. I would probably, if I had to put a number on them, I'd say they're a solid 7.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't think they're quite. And you know, it's funny because when I was working at a startup, one of our philosophies at the startup was never rate anything a 7 because it's either good enough to be an 8 or it's bad enough to be a 6.
Yeah.
You know, a 7 is a very safe number, which I tend to agree with. I do not think these are bad enough to be a 6. I also don't think they're good enough to be an 8. But if you put a gun to my head and said 6 or 8, I'm probably going to go 8 because there's very little to complain about here.
Sure. I mean, like I said, based on the feature set, the only thing if I had to choose between active noise cancellation and an app, I would rather have the app simply because active noise cancellation is fun. It's a nice feature to have, but it can also, if not done well, it can actually ruin the audio quality because you get that audible hiss. That audible hiss in the background. So that's really for $80. The only thing that is like the person sitting in the other chair can fault them on, especially when you can get other true wireless earbuds for less that come with that, and this offer like the reprogrammable touch and equalizers and things like that. But they also may not be of the audio quality of those. So it's all about trade-offs, I guess.
It's all about trade-offs. So, I mean, if you're a sound aficionado, this is probably going to be the way you should lean. And what's funny was when I took them out of the case right now, Skippy the review cat wanted to connect to them, so I had to cancel that.
That's the bad Skippy. No,
but yeah, I mean that is gonna sum it all up basically. But did you have any other questions that you wanted to ask before we get before we roll out the outro?
I think I'm good right now. I just it's hard. I feel I'm glad I'm not in your shoes right now, having to go back to back reviewing true wireless earbuds because
it's a little rough.
It's rough, specifically trying to remember what has what, and the same thing with phones, but I think even more so with true wireless earbuds.
Yeah, and also because true wireless earbuds, we're getting a little philosophical here, but because true wireless earbuds tend to have I would say, or you know what? Actually, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Since true wireless earbuds are not my normal gig. Yeah. I'm definitely more of a phone person than I am an audio person. So it's a little bit harder for me to keep that stuff sorted out. I can review a phone to, back to back to back to back, and I'll know what each of those phones have. But that's because that's my passion. Like, I love earbuds. I love audio. I love listening to audio. In fact, maybe I'll kick these out your way now that we're done with the review. But I definitely love earbuds, but I don't love them nearly to the extent that I love phones. So yeah, it can be a little bit difficult to review them back to back to back to back. But I guess we're just in earbud season now. I mean, I guess that's kind of where we.
So
I guess that's just kind of where we are.
I've got these in for review, and I'm not holding.
Oh yeah.
So these in for review. But what I was gonna say is, okay, you see that this really, other than the fact that it's opens this way, really doesn't look that different from what you have there, right?
Right.
It's just a piece of plastic, and that's why, like, when you have something like this,
or here,
right? I mean,
or here,
either these nothing,
or here,
the nothing that I'm holding here, the ear ones, or the chrome ones from that we have from.
Oh, nothing ear ones? Yeah, I got those too.
Right, exactly. So between those and the Master and Dynamic MW, I guess 70s or 60s. Anyway, those
60,
actually,
I think, yeah,
those stand out just in terms of the, like, oh, I remember those because the hardware design stands out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's something we should end with. It's like, hey, if you want your true wireless earbuds to stand up, maybe you spend a little bit more on not just the ergonomics, but
design.
On the design part of it.
Yeah. And don't develop a touch interface that requires squeezes, because I hate those.
Me too.
But no, and another thing to consider is, if you're looking for something super small and discreet, this is also a good way to go, because these are arguably the smallest earbuds I've ever reviewed. Which also speaks to the battery life. You can't have a super huge battery life if you have
again, trade-offs.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if you're looking for something that you could possibly sleep in, these are probably, maybe good for air travel or something. If you want to take a nap while you're flying or something. They won't give you active noise cancellation, but I think the isolation would be good enough to drown out a significant amount of the noise on an airplane. So anyway, well, yeah, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Please consider subscribing to this podcast if you enjoyed it. And if you really enjoyed it, I would love it if you would write a review or a comment down below. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, because that's the only place you're going to find reviews, click on that subscribe button so you can be notified of new reviews as they drop. And if you want some early access, jump onto Patreon at patreon.com/benefitofadoud. We just got a new patron today, by the way. And I would like to thank co-producer Cliff for all of his hard work behind the scenes and for coming on and talking all about earbuds with me. But most of all, and as always, I'd like to thank you for listening and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.